Recently, as many of you know, we were blessed now 3 or so weeks ago with a baby boy, Chazei Hashem, who was born very early at 26 weeks. So initially he was in one hospital, he was transferred immediately to another hospital that could handle babies at that level of gestation. And we were there. We were there in that place. And it was an incredibly unpleasant place to be, that particular hospital. The staff were fantastic, but the location was not favorable at the best of times, and specifically, and I'll leave out the specifics of it, but with everything going on around Eretz Yisrael and the Palestinians and so on and so forth, that particular neighborhood was not the most pleasant place for an overtly Orthodox, visibly Orthodox Jew to walk. And Palestinian flags lining the streets, really the slums of London, and I just didn't feel safe there at all, and I really dreaded going. And the whole place was just full of our cousins. We should make peace with the ones that want peace very soon, Be'ezus Hashem. And I was just found myself surrounded by all these people, dafka at this moment in time, where if you'll remember, the headlines weren't just all Israel, Palestine, and Gaza. The headlines were actually about incubators, if you remember, and about premature babies at the Shifa Hospital, for those who are following the news, right, who have the unfortunate disadvantage of being aware of what's going on in this world on some level, right? It was all over the news. Incubators, preemies. I had never seen premature babies in the headlines the way that they were 2.5 weeks ago. Dafka, when I found myself as an Orthodox Jew in a Palestinian neighborhood, in the NICU ward, surrounded by incubators and premature babies. It was bizarre. It was totally bizarre. And for me, at least in my head, it added to the danger, right? Because like the chutzpah, from their perspective, here comes an Orthodox Zionist, right? As far as they know, walking into, to a NICU ward to look after his preemie while the Israelis are chas v'shalom, the way that they thought, bombing, and killing babies in incubators, right? From their misguided perspective. So it wasn't pleasant. But I'll tell you, I mamish believe in humanity. And I believe that the news is representative of a tiny fraction of the most extreme elements of every society. Mamish believe that. It's been my experience. It's been your experience. Generally speaking, people are kind. Generally speaking. I know this is difficult for some of us to hear now in a very fragmented and difficult time. Generally speaking, that's the truth. And so I wanted to demonstrate that and to bring that out. And the final day that we were there, I had singled out one of the fathers of one of the babies there in the NICU who I knew spoke English. Imagine, most of them didn't even, not just like British Muslims, like they didn't speak English. These were immigrants from Pakistan, from Jordan, Arabs. I hadn't seen in Israel people that looked like this, like I saw here. I mean, really, not simple at all. And one of them spoke English, and I just went over to him, and it was in front of a lot of other people, so it was like you could have cut the tension in that room with a knife. Like everybody immediately, it was like people like mid sipping their tea. Everybody looked up, like here's this Orthodox Jew going over to this, and I shook his hand, and I wished him well and his child well, and I reminded him that in this place we're all humans, and that we just want the best for each other because they think that we hate them and we think that they hate us. And so Memela, there's this gigantic wall. And we can demonstrate that no, it's not the case. That we want peace and that we wish well for everyone. That's the truth. We do. We mamish wish well for humans. As I was walking out of there, I thought to myself, and again, what do I know? But who knows? If I had to go through this whole thing, myself and my wife and this premature baby, we don't know the ripple effects of being in the right place at the right time amidst the right historical moment and the specific context of being there in the NICU, incubators, premature babies, Orthodox Jew, Palestinian. What do we know? What an impact that could make. So here I'm thinking, well, this is a small, tiny little thing. It's maybe a nice thing to do. What do I know what the main plot is? And what the subplot is. Mi yodea. Who knows? And so this is like a level of consciousness you can have all the time. We never, ever, ever know what the main thing is and what the secondary thing is. So we think that we're going to this place, let's say to the grocery store, just to put it into more regular terms, because all of us are going to go shopping at one point or another this week, or we have and we will. And you got to go and pick up some milk and eggs, right? So that's why we're going to the store. Agav, we bumped into a person that needed a good word and we gave them a compliment, let's say. From our perspective, the main thing is, well, we needed milk. And also this took place. From Hashem's perspective, you only needed milk and ran out of milk so that you would need to go to this particular store to bump into this particular person to give them the strength that they needed, because who knows what might have happened had they not met you and not gotten that compliment. We don't know anything. I'm trying to communicate this all the time to myself and to others. This is what Emunah means. Anachnu yodim klum anachnu yodim. Nothing. We just don't know. The main thing is be awake to the moment. Try your best to add light. Try your best to, like we're learning over here, to make brachas b'kavana. Try your best to be open to the world. Try your best to be open to experiences. Go with the flow. Let Hashem carry you. Good moments, negative moments, hills, valleys, mountains, ditches down in the earth where you feel stamped down. Aliyahs when you're succeeding in Avodas Hashem. Yeridas where a person falls prey to the Yetzer Hara and the Satan. All of this should be approached with openness, simplicity, willingness to do Hashem's bidding here, wherever here may be. That's the goal of Yiddishkeit. That's it. Moment to moment awareness of this kind of consciousness. And again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I don't live like that all the time. It was super intense moment, and Hashem gifted me with the confidence to go and grab it. I don't always. I miss many opportunities like the rest of us. But I was just using that as one example. But my tefillah for myself, at least, is that I should really live this way, if not all the time, then at least most of the time. How much anxiety we would be able to overcome. How much stress and tension and sadness and disappointment we would be able to avoid. And that's a side benefit, meaning it's not we adopt this mindset like Karl Marx, once said that religion is the opium of the masses, right? That it's just this fake thing that we use in order to, deal with the hardship of life. That's not it. We don't have this consciousness because it's beneficial. We have this consciousness because it's true. And because it's true, it's beneficial. This is the truth. Living this way can enable a person to deal with whatever goes on in his or her life with this sense of sameness, equanimity. Because wherever I am is where I have been sent to do this mission. We got to fix something here. And after 120, we'll get to see everything, what actually was, and who these people were, and what we knew in a previous lifetime, and what the impact of shaking the hand of somebody in a contentious situation changes his perspective. Who knows what he was going to do later that day? Who knows how he'll be an advocate now in a context of people who could do harm to our community? Who knows what all the other people in the room can shift their way of thinking about Orthodox Jews? Who knows? Who knows? If that's the abiding schus of our Tinok Ben Shir Yehudis, that because of him, I happen to find myself in that scenario to affect something. Who knows? Mi yodea. One day we'll find out. That will be our Olam Haba. To be able to have the privilege of looking back and being like, oh my gosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you knew what you were doing. All along, there was this master plan that sometimes we think of Hashem's master plan in the sense of it being broad. But sometimes we don't realize master plan means every tiny detail. It's not just a master plan like it's this, overarching general hashgacha. Hashgacha pratis, every prat and prat of a prat, and every teeniest, tiniest detail down to the details of details of details. Precisely what we need.